Hello friends, and welcome to the Gesundheit Kitchen. My name is Hans Rueffert, and I love it when we actually get feedback from you guys, right? So I never know what you don't know or what it is you're wanting to learn. And so I was so happy when two different people reached out to me saying that they needed more breakfast ideas, particularly ideas of, you know, when you wake up and you're not feeling that great, wouldn't it be great if you could make something the day before? So this is something that I have incorporated into my diet, and quite honestly, it has, anecdotally, I know this is me, I'm a total gastrectomy patient, but this has changed kind of the way that I eat throughout the day. Now, if you've watched any of our videos, we know that my friend Dr. Ellen Steinberg talks about fiber, and that is usually in the form of insoluble and soluble plant-based, complex fiber. And one of the things that's been very popular here lately is overnight oats. So when you're doing overnight oats, you're using the rolled oats, and they're good, right? So you're doing usually equal parts oats, and then either, I typically use a milk alternative, like an oat milk or an almond milk, or even rice milk, and they're good. But after about the first day, they kind of go from really good to kind of a little bit, I hate to use the word slimy, but they're just not the best consistency. So I started kind of experimenting, and I always love using these sort of alternative grains. And if you've ever had tabbouleh is made from bulgur. Now, bulgur is a type of wheat, so it's not gluten-free. So if you have gluten issues, you might want to stick to the oats, or you could use something like whole grain sorghum. But using the bulgur, you can do overnight bulgur, and it lasts 4 or 5 days, and the texture stays beautifully chewy. So not hard, not crunchy, just that right amount of chew. So I've got one that I've made, but I'm going to show you just kind of an example of how you can do this. But the best part about this is it's so customizable. So anything you like, throw it in there to a degree. And anything you don't like that I'm using, don't use it. So if you don't like coconut, don't use coconut. So the main thing you're going to need is a jar or a container with a tight fitting lid. Now, I'm the only person in my household that eats this regularly, so I make this for me, and throughout the day I'll go back and eat it time and time again. So you can buy jars, of course, but I typically am a bit of a hoarder when it comes to containers and jars, and so I save like from an old jam or chutney. But the most important thing is have a wide mouth opening, right? If you're saving a jar with a small opening, you're gonna have a hard time getting those things in there. And the other thing is you want to leave a little room for expansion, because as these things hydrate, they swell up quite a bit. So I'm going to start with putting a little less than half the jar of, this is bulgur. I might as well put all that I have in there. And that's what, I don't know, about a cup, roughly. And again, this is a one-to-one kind of a thing when it comes to grains and liquid. So that's my bulgur. I'm using the Bob's Red Mill, but there's a lot of different varieties out there. Now to this, again, this is where you just go and have fun with it. I love putting chia seeds in there because chia seeds kind of swell up, and also high in protein. They also add a nice texture to it, kind of bind everything together. So going with some chia seeds. I like doing coconut. That's one of my favorites. So I'll go in with some coconut flakes, and those are going to rehydrate and become nice and supple and pliable, as opposed to little, what looks like toenail clippings there. That doesn't sound very appetizing, sorry about that. But anyway, that's what they look like. I like putting in some dried fruits, and the one that I'm about to show you, I had some raisins in there, but I'm going to put in some dried blueberries. And some of the fruits, like the dried blueberries, I can't speak, like the dried blueberries, they're a little tough, but once they've spent overnight in their little bath here, they're going to get nice and plump and really, really delicious. So blueberries in there, and what else? That's probably good for now. Now, you can use, like I said, any milk alternative. I like the banana almond milk because it actually has bananas in there, so you have the flavor of the bananas, but also there's some natural fructose, or the sweetness of the banana is in there. So I don't have to add any additional sweetness. But if you like a little additional sweetness, there's so many great sugar alternates now that won't spike your glycemic index. So things like stevia or pure cane, or again, there's a lot of good ones out there. So, but again, this banana milk, it's a great drinking thing too. Now notice, I've already kind of went against what I said and said leave room for expansion, but once you kind of go in here and mix this up, you'll see that it makes a little more room. But I'm basically putting equal parts of the grain with the liquid. And you know, one kind of fun application for this is if you make smoothies a lot, you can actually use your leftover smoothie in with this too. And we've made at home some pretty odd colored, you know, like where you have beets in the smoothie, or if you have spirulina, you'll make like kind of a blue one. And so if you have kids and you know, you get them into helping you customize this thing, they will absolutely love it. My youngest, Heidi, she likes to drink anything that has the chia seeds, or there's another seed very similar that's called holy basil seeds. You can find it in a lot of Indian grocery stores, called tukmaria, Tukmaria, or it looks like tukmaria seeds, and they actually swell up even bigger than the chia seeds. And there's a lot of evidence that that helps keep you hydrated through the day. It's supposed to be good for your hair and nails. So if you're going through treatment, that might be a good way to kind of boost, you know, the strength of your hair and nails as they tend to get weaker. So this is pretty much it, right? And this is, and you can taste it at this point if you want to taste it, adjust it for sweetness. But at this point, the bulgur is going to be very chewy. So edible, yes, but it's going to be, again, like eating miniature rocks. So what I would do is I would close this up, find my lid here, and again, it's good to have a tight fitting lid, because what I typically do is give it a good shake, and then that goes in the fridge at least overnight. But as I said, this actually I made 2 days ago, and this is the one that I used the golden raisins in. And the whole thing, there's no excess liquid in here, right? That's just the whole thing has been absorbed. In fact, let me kind of open this up here so you can see. And unlike the oats, which by the way, you could mix together. I could have part oats, part bulgur in there. The oats give it a more kind of a creamy consistency, but after about day 2, they really get a little bit, in my mind, unappetizing. They're not the most amazing thing when the oats have sat there for a long time. These, on the other hand, they have the right sort of chewiness to them. A little spring, a little give, and again, that fiber is so good. And what the fiber does, again, if you kind of refer back to my previous conversations with Dr. Steinberg, fiber acts like a sponge. And so when your body gets kind of flooded with too much insulin, or you've had too much sugar in the day, it kind of pulls in that extra insulin to avoid those dramatic up and down spikes. So this is good as is. You can always embellish it with a little fresh fruit. So here I've got some raspberries. These are some hemp hearts, which are super high in protein. So lots of plant-based protein, lots of really, really good, Ellen would be proud, fiber sources in there. It's delicious, and you can go back to this throughout the day. So yes, this would be my breakfast, and then midday, if I feel like I need a little pick-me-up, I need to eat a little more, get some more calories in me. Again, this is my jar, so I just go back in with a spoon and I'm double dipping because I know it's just me eating it. But the danger of eating it from the jar is oftentimes you can eat too much because you're excited and you're eating too much. So if you're not quite sure how much you can tolerate, it would be better to portion out a small amount, eat that, give it a few minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes, and then go back to it. So you will probably have that advice from your nutritionist or your doctor, particularly right after surgery, is you really have to learn to find what your tolerance is and pace yourself throughout the day. I'm excited to share this. Again, this is one of my new favorite things, and the first time I tried it with oats, was totally pleased with it, but when I went back to it, it wasn't exactly what I wanted. To me, the bulgur, or a combination of the oats and bulgur together, is where it's at. And I hope this is something you try, and I hope it's something that you can incorporate into your diet. Let me know what you think, and again, feedback really helps us to know what it is you're interested in learning. It gives us some direction, and so we look forward to hearing from you, and I'll look forward to seeing you again here in the Gesundheit Kitchen. Until then, take care.